Hello everyone, today I'm going to teach you how to make a butterscotch chocolate cake. So the first thing you're going to want to do is preheat your oven to 350, and then once you do that, you're going to take a stick of butter in a saucepan and melt it on medium heat. And what you're going to do is brown the butter. So the brown butter is key to making the butterscotch flavor, and you're going to want to keep your eye on the butter just because it can go from brown butter to burnt butter really quick. And then once that's done, you're going to set it aside and let it cool. Now while that's cooling, you're going to want to prep your other ingredients. So you're going to need 1.5 cups of brown sugar, 3 eggs, 1 tablespoon of vanilla, 2.5 cups of flour, a half teaspoon of salt, 2 teaspoons of baking soda, and a cup of milk. So the first thing you're going to want to do is mix your brown sugar into your butter and make sure that's, well combined. And then once that's done, you're going to add the eggs, the milk, and the vanilla, and then you're going to mix that until it's well combined. Now what you're going to do is add the salt and the baking powder to the flour and just shake it to mix it up a little. Then you're going to add your wet ingredients and then mix it until all the flour is completely dissolved into the mixture. Now once that's done, you're going to add a cup of butterscotch chips and then just mix that right into the batter. Now you're going to spray 2 9-inch round pans with cooking spray and divide the batter evenly between both. And then once you're done doing that, you're going to put it in the oven and bake it for around 30 minutes. And while that's baking away, you're going to work on the frosting. So what you're going to need is a pound of powdered sugar, a pound of room temperature butter, and the other cup of the butterscotch chips. So first thing you're going to do is mix the butter up until it's nice and smooth, and then once you're done doing that, you're going to add the powdered sugar a little bit at a time so that way it doesn't make a huge mess everywhere. And then once that's combined, you're going to add the butterscotch chips. Now, to melt the butterscotch chips, you're just going to put it in a microwavable safe dish, microwave it for 30 seconds, stir it, then 10 seconds, stir it, 10 seconds until it's melted. You don't want it hot because if it's hot, it will melt the buttercream. Also, it might be a little thick, so if it is, just add like 3 tablespoons of either milk or half and half, and that'll just loosen it right up. Now, once the cakes are chilled and out of the oven, you're going to take a serrated knife and just basically cut around the cake, taking off the little hump on the top so that way there's an even layer, and you're going to do that with both cakes. Now, be careful not to cut yourself. Now what you're going to need to do is with the first layer, you're going to fill a pastry bag with a star tip at the end. And now you're going to take it and create like a little moat around the edge. This will help keep the filling in. And the filling, you can use anything for a filling when it comes to cake. I'm just using instant chocolate pudding just to, have a difference in flavors with the butterscotch. But if you want to just have a whole butterscotch cake, that's perfectly fine. You can just fill the rest of that in with the butterscotch buttercream, spread it out. And then after that, you're going to take the other layer and you're going to take it bottom side up so that way it's completely even on the top. Now once your layers are nice and sandwiched together, you're going to do your first layer of buttercream, which is called the crumb coat. Now this does not have to be perfect, it's only there to lock in all of the crumbs, so that way it's not in your final layer, the one that's, presentable. And once this layer is done, just pop it in the freezer for a couple minutes so that way the buttercream can set before you do the final layer. Now once the buttercream has set, you're going to want to take it out of the freezer and then you're going to do your final layer of buttercream. This one you're going to want to be a little more precise with because it's the one you're going to see. Now this layer could be the layer that you completely finish with and then be done, but I'm going to take it a step further. So I decided to put it in the freezer again to let that layer set. And now what I'm going to do is I have a cup of hot water and I'm just going to dip the offset spatula into it and just smooth out the cake. Now you're not going to want to apply a lot of pressure. You're just going to want to gently sweep over it to make sure everything is smooth. And then once that's done, you're going to pop it in the freezer again for a couple more minutes. Now that the buttercream is set, you're going to take the same pastry bag filled with the buttercream with the star tip at the end and just go around the cake, applying a little bit of pressure and just creating a border. Now what I do is just take that same pastry bag and make like 8 swirls at the top. I go north, south, east, and west, and then in between those so that way the swirls are even. And once I'm done with that, I like to take Lindt truffles and then just put those right on top of the little swirls. And this is the final result. Now I hope you guys really enjoy this recipe and I hope you decide to make it, for your holiday dinners.